Hey guys, it's Daniel. As promised, I am back to do a part two of how I missed the 1990s. So I'm gonna just get right into the review. When you think about the 90s, we had some of the best films. I think a lot of you would agree with me. I mean, in 1990, we had the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part One, which I think is the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film because the turtles look good in their suits. The look of the film, it looked just exactly as it did with the 80s cartoon show. Shredder looked badass. The film was just very entertaining. I know most parents said that, the film was violent because of the weapons and stuff. It is what it is. I mean, great film to start out the 90s. And then you have Home Alone, the original Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin. I mean, what more can you say about that film? Very entertaining, very funny. It made Macaulay Culkin a star, and it's one of Macaulay Culkin's best films, honestly. I mean, you got those films to start out the 90s. Then you got, films like Jurassic Park, which is probably the best Jurassic Park. Great dinosaur film, involving the dinosaurs, how they interact with humans, and how humans would interact if they were involved in that situation where they were being attacked by dinosaurs. One of the best films of the 90s, of 1993. And then you have Mrs. Doubtfire with the late great Robin Williams. Another great film with a huge star that's no longer with us. R.I.P. to Robin Williams. Just a classic film. One of the best films of 1993 as well. So you had just great films. You had some more TV show. I'll throw out some more TVs. I mean, it's a little bit corny, but I mean, Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell was a really fun show. Maybe not as good as maybe shows like Boy Meets World and so forth, but still a great still a great show. I mean, you had one of my favorite characters of the show, Zach Morris. I mean, who didn't want to be Zach Morris? Who didn't want to freeze time and get all the girls? I mean, you had Screech, played by Dustin Diamond, another great character in the show. R.I.P. to Dustin Diamond. So Saved by the Bell was another great show of mine growing up, and you know, malls used to be fun. Remember the days where you would go to the malls and it would be fun. When you went to a mall in the '90s, they had a lot of great stores, and just the atmosphere of going to a mall, whether you were a kid or an adult. I mean, it was still fun to go to a mall because it felt like a lot of fun, and the malls were a lot of fun back then. A lot of these malls had arcades, had mini arcades, and when you go to a mall today, it's just depressing. I mean, just very depressing going to a mall today compared to what it was in the '90s, where if you go to a mall in the '90s, it was just a lot more fun. It was a lot more entertaining, and it had more better stores. You know, we used to have just more great films like Terminator 2, Judgment Day with Arnold, which I'll probably do a review on that very soon. One of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best films, you know, because of the special effects. I mean, you got the T-1000, you know, one of the best villains ever in the film. So Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I mean, you got The Mask with Jim Carrey, another great film. You know, one of Jim Carrey's best films because of the special effects and him just being the Mask. I mean, who doesn't like The Mask, the film? You know, and going to the grocery store was more better. You go to a grocery store, you know, you could spend $20, $30 and you can get a lot of stuff. It was a joy going to grocery stores in the '90s because you could spend 20, 30, maybe even $40 and you can get a ton of stuff. Now going to a grocery store, you have to spend a lot of money. You have to spend you have to spend at least $100. You're looking at $100 to, you know, buy a lot of food. For if you have a family, I mean, it is what it is. But even yourself, I mean, you have to buy at least $80 to $100 worth of food now. You know, so going to a grocery store is a pain in the ass because every time you go to a store, the prices are going to be up. They're going to go up anyway. The prices never stay the same. You know, the prices never stay the same. You know, like they were before you went. So the grocery stores were a lot better back then. I mean, you know, the 90s was a great time, man. The 90s was a great time. I mean, you know, we had some great music back then. I mean, we had Notorious B.I.G. We had Biggie. We had Tupac. We had Nas in his prime. I mean, we had Jay-Z. I mean, who could forget Eminem's first album, the Slim Shady LP. You know, the Slim Shady LP, when that came out in late 1999, or actually came out February 1999, it was a huge hit. And that's one of Eminem. I think that's one of my favorite Eminem albums. That's probably one of Eminem's best albums because of how lyrical it is. I mean, My Name Is was a funny song, you know. So we had Eminem come out in the late 90s. I mean, you had Nas's Illmatic, which is probably Nas's best album lyrically and storytelling wise. I mean, you had songs like One Love and New York State of Mind, which is probably one of Nas's, you know, best songs. Probably the best song on that album, Illmatic, New York State of Mind. And Life's a Bitch, another great song. So, you know, we had good hip hop in the 90s. I'll probably do a separate video after this of just my favorite albums of the 90s. So I'll probably do that very soon. But I just threw two of them in there. Nas's Illmatic, Eminem's Slim Shady LP. Two great, um, 90s albums. So we had great rap. You know, rap today sucks. I don't even know who's rapping now. And today's life, 2025, really sucks compared to how it was in the 90s. I mean, the 90s was just a better time for life. And probably, like I said, this is part 2. I'll probably do a part 3. I'll think about it. But, you know, this is part 2 of how I missed the 90s, how I love the 90s. And there'll never be an era like the 90s. I mean, they just never will be, you know. I like the 2000s. Not to say that I hate the 2000s. But I'll probably do maybe a video on the 2000s one day. But the 2000s just was not as good as the 90s. I mean, the 2000s was good at best. But the 90s, just the flow of the 90s, how life was a little bit more peaceful. Life was a little bit more tolerable. I mean, you know, the cost of living was much less. You know, you can live comfortable in the 90s, even if you weren't a millionaire. You know, you would be struggling as you do now, but again, you would have more, you know, spending money to do more stuff and, you know, like go to the movies and stuff. So the 90s was a much better time. So this is, like I promised, this is part 2. I'll probably do a part 3 soon. I'll probably do that very soon. But this is a part 2 of how I missed the 90s. So like and comment and tell me you guys' favorite films of the 90s and tell me your favorite moments of the 90s. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.